Tenemos con nosotros, bueno, antes que nada pido que como maestro de ceremonia, esto es algo muy casero. Quisiera primeramente agradecer a todos ustedes por estar aquí, agradecer al señor decano, el doctor Ricardo Pavetti, por honrarnos con su presencia. Él es colega nuestro, colega de la profesora Spezzini por muchos años en el colegio americano, por eso la aprecian mucho y está aquí para acompañarnos. Y por sobre todo agradecer la presencia y el acompañamiento de la profesora Susan Spezzini por todo el apoyo, la colaboración que nos ha estado dando en estos últimos, no quiero decir 2 años porque son más de 2 años, creo que son ya 3 que empezamos a colaborar, primeramente virtualmente, y luego ella pudo venir aquí el año pasado a través de una beca Fulbright que presentó a pedido nuestro, y fue realmente generosa con su tiempo. Nos iba a brindar el tiempo de su sabático para venir aquí en el 2021, pero justamente ese año tuvimos el año más duro de la pandemia realmente para nuestro país, ya que es el año donde realmente mucha gente se enfermó y no pudimos tener actividades presenciales. Entonces, por suerte, la Comisión Fulbright pudo entender esta situación y permitió que ella pueda venir en 2 ocasiones. El año pasado estuvo aquí 3 meses con nosotros. Ahora estuvo porque este es ya su último fin de semana, estuvo con nosotros 3 meses enteros trabajando en este proyecto que queremos compartir con ustedes. Estamos ya a punto de terminarlo. Realmente para nosotros es una gran alegría poder compartir con ustedes este proyecto de libro que nació de aquí del ISL, y con el permiso del señor decano no estamos en un evento muy protocolar, entonces yo voy a aprovechar ya para comentarles sobre este proyecto y luego pedirle al señor decano y a la señora Susan si pueden también dar unas palabras para hacerlo más fluido. Y bueno, está en la presentación allá al frente. El proyecto se llama Teaching English in Global Contexts. Es un libro de texto editado para estudiantes de grado de lengua inglesa, pensado para nuestros estudiantes y estudiantes de carreras similares en nuestro país, en la región y, por qué no, en otras partes del mundo. Voy a hablar en Spanglish a pedido de la profesora Susan. Tenemos también algunos colegas de otros países que nos están siguiendo por la página del Facebook. Quiero agradecer también a la gente que se está uniendo a través de nuestra página, estamos transmitiendo. Entonces, la parte de la historia voy a contarla en Spanglish, un poco cambiando. Yo contacté con la profesora Susan, como les mencionaba, ella consiguió la Fulbright. Ella iba inicialmente a venir a colaborar con un tema de un posgrado que tenemos todavía pendiente, que está en proceso de aprobación. Y como eso estaba tardando más de lo que estábamos esperando, entonces yo, que había propuesto acá en el equipo de trabajo de la carrera de lengua inglesa la idea de hacer un libro de este tipo para que nuestros estudiantes tengan un libro de calidad. Entonces le propuse a la profesora Susan, voy a moverme aquí un poquitito, y esto va a ser muy rápido. Como les digo, la profesora Susan Spezzini es nuestra colega. Ella estuvo con nosotros hace muchos años, en los años 80 y 90, cuando ella vivió aquí en Paraguay, más de 20 años. Trabajó como docente en el Instituto Superior de Lengua y también en otras instituciones de enseñanza de inglés. Fue parte del del equipo fundador de la Asociación Paratisol en Paraguay, fue presidenta de Paratisol, y por lo tanto es un gran honor para nosotros tenerla aquí con nosotros. Para aquellos que son muy jóvenes y no la recuerdan, tienen que saber que la profesora Susan es una celebrity en Paraguay. So in English, for those who are following us on Facebook and maybe don't understand Spanish, we are very, very happy to have Susan Spezzini with us here. She's a wonderful colleague. She was here many years ago. She lived in Paraguay for over 20 years, and she's been back now twice with a Fulbright scholarship, and we're more than happy to have her. She was a founder of Paratisol, which is Paraguay's TISOL affiliate. So for us, it's a great honor to have her and to be able to collaborate with her in this project of a collaborative textbook that will be an open educational resource. Este libro va a ser un libro editado a través de la editorial de la Facultad de Filosofía, y por eso quiero agradecer al decano y a todo su equipo, especialmente de la Dirección de Investigación, por haber permitido, por haber creado la editorial de la facultad que permite que podamos sacar adelante este tipo de proyectos. O si no, lo tendríamos que sacar a nombre propio, y siempre es mucho más prestigioso para los autores sacar bajo el auspicio de la universidad. So I would like to thank the Faculty of Philosophy for the opportunity to be able to publish this book on the editorial label of our university, our faculty. And following, I would like to go to the next slide and say, well, we're here at the Instituto de Lenguas. I don't have to say much about this. This is the alma mater for many of us who are here. I'm a graduate. Many of my colleagues are here. Like I said, Dr. Spezzini was a professor here for many years. And so we're continuing. The book project I was telling you, I think now, Rosie, if you can move forward. The purpose of the book is to provide students with quality, accessible materials. Basically, that's summarizing the whole thing. Entonces, el gran objetivo de este libro es brindar a los estudiantes que se están preparando para ser docentes con un material de calidad y que sea accesible, que no tengan que estar gastando mucho dinero comprando, o en su defecto quizás consiguiendo por otros medios materiales que tienen restringido la licencia. Muchas veces para la universidad también es difícil acceder a las licencias institucionales, son muy costosas. Entonces para nosotros esto fue una oportunidad para, por un lado, que los estudiantes accedan a un material de calidad, y también para que nuestros docentes tengan la oportunidad de compartir su conocimiento sobre sus áreas de especialización, y que nuestros estudiantes puedan conocer todo el know-how que tienen nuestros docentes. So for us was a double purpose, for the students to access free materials, and on the other hand, for our faculty to showcase their knowledge and expertise. And we were able to also garner the expertise of many of our colleagues around the world. So if we move forward, please. So here is a timeline of what happened. I'm going to go really, really quickly, so I'm going to ask my colleague Rocio to move a little bit faster, not so fast. So, like I said, we started one before that. We started over 2 years ago. I told Susan about this project. She finally accessed to co-edit this book with me, and we contacted our local colleagues and colleagues from many places, and we were finally able to get 55 chapters from the original 30 chapters that we planned. How did we plan the chapters? We asked the faculty here, Professor Mazzoleni included, what are some of the topics that you need to teach in your teacher education classes? And they gave us a list of topics, and from that we went and tried to figure out who were the specialists in those areas. Entonces, en castellano, para los que no entienden, lo que hicimos fue preguntarle a los colegas cuáles eran las áreas, los temas del contenido programático, y a partir de ahí contactamos con colegas locales aquí en Paraguay, del ISL, pero también de otras instituciones. Acá está nuestro colega Remigio Díaz, que es egresado del ISL, que está en el Instituto Nacional de Educación Superior. También está en la Universidad Falevi, está en la UNI, está en varias partes, así como nuestro profesor Cristóbal, que también es un multiple agent, como yo les digo. Ellos están en muchos lados, entonces son agentes triples, cuádruples, y ahí nació el libro. Entonces, a partir de ahí surgió este libro con 9 partes, 50, a partir de los 30 capítulos originales. Se multiplicó, fue como cuando se crean los gemelos. Ustedes saben que los gemelos tienen que ser uno solo y al final salen 2. Bueno, esto fue así. Tenían que ser 30 capítulos y salieron casi el doble. Entonces, almost twice the chapters. From 30, we were able to get 55 chapters, and these are the parts. The World of English Language Teaching is the first part that gives the background to what it means to teach English nowadays. I'm not going to read all the chapters because it's a little bit long. The second part is language learners. This presentation will be available in the book as well soon. The book is coming in probably 2 months. The book is now in the last stages of editing and is going into copy editing. So it's going to be out soon. Next, the third and fourth part include language learning and use, and context for teaching and learning. Then we have content and language integration, methods and approaches. Those of you who take classes are probably very familiar with these topics. Then we have teaching strategies, assessment, and finally career development and enhancement. So we were, like I said, Dr. Spezzini was fundamental in garnering the collaboration of several very renowned colleagues, professors, some of them retired in the area of English language teaching. Some of them leaders who were former TESOL international presidents. We have really, really great contributors. So this is a very important for you to know this. Entonces es muy importante para nosotros destacar el papel que cumplió la doctora Spezzini en conseguir que personas de gran calibre a nivel internacional contribuyan con este libro. Actuales y anteriores presidentes de asociaciones internacionales de profesores de inglés como lengua extranjera, IATEFL y TESOL International. Realmente eso le da un prestigio muy importante a este emprendimiento. Realmente sin ella nosotros no hubiésemos tenido esto. Without Professor Spezzini, this would have been a much more humble endeavor. And thanks to her contribution, this has become something really huge. Many people are really talking about it. So for me, it's really, really, I'm so grateful, you have no idea. So as you can see, there's 61 authors from 9 countries for the 55 chapters. I'm not going to read all of them, but we have countries from the region and far away, including Russia, Australia, Argentina, Colombia, Uruguay, Mexico, Honduras, and the United States, from 9 different states in the United States of America. So as you see, it's a very, very diverse group of authors. Entonces, como pueden ver, los autores vienen de múltiples lugares y traen múltiples perspectivas, que también es algo que le enriquece mucho a este proyecto. Entonces, siguiendo, estamos casi ya al final. Esto ya les conté, esta es nada más cómo se sucedió. En los últimos 2 años recibimos los trabajos, trabajamos con la profesora Spezzini. Ella, sobre todo, otra cosa que consiguió ella, que es de mucha valía, es la colaboración de una colega suya de la Universidad de Alabama, quien es editora profesional. Ella es doctora en composición y redacción, la doctora jubilada Julia Austin, quien contribuyó muchísimo a la revisión y edición de los capítulos. So we are very, very grateful for Dr. Julia Austin's contribution to the revision and editing process. She's a doctor in rhetoric and writing, and she's helped enormously for the revision and editing of the book. So next we have, the book will be available through the editorial page at Facultad de Filosofía. It will be also available at the ISL page. We will also try to get a special domain for the book, and so that will be part of the official launch in the next 2 months. Hopefully we will be able to get, if we don't get the whole website for the book, we are working on first getting the book put together, and then maybe by Compla, by November, we will have the full site, where we will have not only the chapters, but hopefully we want to also have some other resources like author videos and other things that we're going to include in each of the chapter pages. Entonces, como decía en inglés, el libro va a salir en un par de meses, y va a estar disponible a través de la editorial de la facultad, pero también a través de otros sitios. Va a estar también en Google Books, y queremos hacer un sitio especial para el libro, con, además de los capítulos, tener otros materiales extras. Eso es una idea de personas que estuvieron con nosotros compartiendo en el Congreso TISO International. Entonces, finalmente, para terminar, queremos agradecer a todas las personas que contribuyeron, primeramente a los autores. Yo quiero agradecer a la profesora Spezzini, ya lo hice varias veces, pero agradecer infinitamente no va a ser suficiente para mí y para el ISL. Queremos agradecer también a todos los autores que contribuyeron con su expertise. Queremos también, ya mencioné, agradecer muy especialmente a la doctora Julia Austin por su ayuda. Queremos agradecer a algunos de los líderes en TISO, quienes nos ayudaron con varios aspectos, sobre todo en los inicios del libro. La profesora Leslie Barrett, quien fue la primera en entregar un capítulo, y utilizamos ese capítulo como muestra. La profesora Natalie Kuhlman, Mark Algren, a Gabriel Díaz Moyoli, Gracia Mendoza, quienes también contribuyeron con otros autores. So we would like to thank all of the people mentioned for all of their contribution, most especially Dr. Leslie Barrett and Gabriel Díaz Moyoli contributed with the prologue and the epilogue. Entonces, realmente hay que agradecer a muchas personas, y finalmente a las instituciones que nos apoyaron. La Universidad Nacional de Asunción, especialmente la Facultad de Filosofía, como ya lo dije, por brindarnos el espacio de la editorial para poder sacar este libro sin costo para los estudiantes y cualquier persona que quiera ver. A la Universidad de Alabama Birmingham por permitir que la profesora Susan Spezzini venga a estar con nosotros. A la Fundación Fulbright también por financiar la estadía de la profesora Susan el año pasado y este año. Y finalmente a la Asociación TISO International por brindarnos la oportunidad de compartir este proyecto en 2 convenciones en los pasados, este año y el año pasado. Este año yo tuve la oportunidad de asistir con la profesora Susan, Y el año pasado ella tuvo la oportunidad de hacer un encuentro con algunos de los autores que estaban presentes. Entonces, finalmente, nada más volver a agradecer a todos ustedes que estén aquí, comentarles que este libro va a estar disponible en los próximos 2 meses. También que estamos buscando financiamiento para ver si podemos hacer una impresión en físico para también poder distribuir esto de manera gratuita en algunos espacios específicos para las bibliotecas del INAE, de la Universidad Nacional, FALEVI, UNI, IFD, etcétera. Eso es un poco más, queremos, una vez que esté el libro listo, ahí va a ser más fácil. So we're now in the search for funding for a printed version. It's not necessary, nowadays ebooks are, you know, everywhere, and there's a lot more things you can do with ebooks, but having the book in a library is also a really nice feeling. So hopefully we will be able to get at least a little bit of funding so we can get it printed and have it in our library and have it in other Paraguayan libraries, as well as hopefully in other places, maybe at the University of Alabama, of course. And so with that, thank you very much. Muchísimas gracias a todos. Voy a dar la palabra ahora al señor decano de la Facultad de Filosofía, a quien nos concedió su presencia, que estamos muy agradecidos, para que pueda comentar su visión y su opinión sobre este proyecto que a nosotros nos pone muy contentos. Sí, como usted quiera.
Buenas tardes, señora directora del Instituto Superior de Lenguas, doctora Valentina Canese, señora profesora doctora Susana Spezzini, señores profesores, apreciados estudiantes aquí presentes. Antes que nada quiero saludar en forma particular a la doctora Spezzini con un sentido de admiración hacia su persona, porque ella ha dado 2 hijos a esta república, se ha casado con un ciudadano de nuestra república y está muy compenetrada con nuestras dudas y con nuestras esperanzas como pueblo, como nación, como país. La conozco, si bien la he tratado no mucho, sus quilates académicos y su calidad de persona avalan ese aprecio personal que siento hacia su persona. Como decano de la Facultad de Filosofía me siento muy honrado de participar en este acto académico, un acto que nos engrandece en el sentido de que estamos entrando ya decididamente a una etapa de la producción de obras y en la publicación de las mismas, porque llevábamos un atraso muy acentuado en ese aspecto. Estamos saliendo con mucho esfuerzo de esa gran crisis del año 2015 y nosotros, sin poder remover totalmente los escombros ni abrir las sendas que queríamos abrir, estamos consiguiendo en esta facultad, en esta universidad, logros muy importantes. Todo ha sido debido a un esfuerzo, ha sido todo mediante una lucha, y este trabajo que están realizando en este instituto, con la fuerza que tienen todos los idiomas que aquí se enseñan. Nosotros venimos participando del lanzamiento de revistas y de diversos actos que eso nos satisface, porque, repito, estamos llenando un vacío que nosotros no cubríamos. Y eso es algo lamentable, pero por lo menos esto ya es muy alentador. Y agradecer este trabajo que la doctora ha presentado recién. Nosotros, en un esfuerzo, hemos creado la editorial de la facultad que no teníamos, y ahí nos estamos moviendo con nuestra dirección de investigación. Y también a la doctora quiero agradecerle este taller del cual ustedes van a nutrirse. Eso eleva nuestro prestigio, porque por años estuvimos muy aislados y muy, como se dice, volando bajo, y ahora estamos proyectándonos hacia mejores alturas. Agradezco agradezco esta invitación y celebro este acontecimiento, porque creo que es un triunfo de un trabajo en equipo y de un esfuerzo que no ha menguado en estos casi 3 años que vienen enfrentando esta situación. Muchas gracias por permitirme participar de este acto. Muchas gracias a la vida por reencontrarme con la doctora Spezzini, y muy agradecido con nuestra directora, que le ha dado un ritmo diferente a la conducción del instituto. Gracias nuevamente.
Muchas gracias, señor decano, por las palabras. Quisiera nada más dar unos minutos a la profesora Spezzini para que pueda también ella expresar con el decano su perspectiva respecto a este proyecto y respecto a estar aquí con nosotros, y luego vamos a hacer un pequeño reconocimiento a la profesora Spezzini, para que luego poder dejar que el señor decano, que tiene otros compromisos, pueda retirarse, y que la profe Susan Spezzini pueda ya dar paso al taller que va a dar.
Muchísimas gracias a la doctora Valentina Bacanese y también al señor Ricardo Pavetti. Nosotros éramos colegas por varios años en otra institución educativa acá. I'm going to first speak a little bit in Spanish here because of this presentation, because of this pre-launch of the book. But then, of course, when I give my presentation, I will be speaking in English. Ahora hablo un poco en español, con la presencia acá del decano Pavetti, gran colega de antes, y es un gran placer, como él había dicho, encontrarnos de vuelta después de como 25 años. Y cuando estoy muy agradecido que él pudo venir esta noche para dar sus palabras y su apoyo. Luego tenemos su apoyo desde cuando la doctora Canese primero habló conmigo, dijo, tenemos el apoyo de la Facultad de Filosofía. Ellos tienen una editorial y ahí vamos a publicar este libro. Entonces, desde el inicio, ese apoyo ha sido dado y los brazos abiertos a nosotros, y le agradezco. Porque solamente así se puede después lograr los éxitos y los logros a través de un programa como Fulbright. Fulbright yo tuve que solicitar y ganar el derecho, la pasantía acá, una pasantía de trabajo, pasantía de investigación y de enseñanza. Y recibí eso y vine. Pero cuando la institución que reciba la profesora o los académicos de Fulbright, para que todo funcione bien, las instituciones que reciben tienen que dar su apoyo 100%. Y acá yo lo puedo decir que creo que 200% de apoyo en toda forma. Entonces así se puede lograr un compañerismo y un trabajo colaborador. So in English, I'm very, very honored that Mr. Pavetti, the Dean Pavetti, could come this evening. But he has been, and the Faculty of Philosophy have been supporting this project since we started. And for Fulbright to have the success that it hopes to have, the institution that receives the Fulbright Scholar has to be totally bought into or wanting to do the same project. It has to be collaboration and working together. And it's only in this way that the Fulbright mission will reach its goal, and that each institution, the institution here in Paraguay and my own institution, which is the University of Alabama at Birmingham, will reach its goal. Whereas before, 20 years ago, my institution was this institution. It was the National University of Asunción Instituto Superior de Lenguas. And I was also teaching at the American School and at other places, as everybody does in Paraguay. You teach in many different places. But with that, I would like to say I'm really pleased now that we're getting more and more people here. Estoy muy contenta que más y más están llegando. And with that, I will pass the microphone back to la doctora Canese. Devuelvo el micrófono.
Bueno, también quisiera llamar aquí al frente a la profesora Rocío Mazzolini, quien es nuestra actual presidenta de la Asociación Paratisol aquí en Paraguay, que también colabora con nosotros en muchas actividades, muchos eventos, y que también fue uno de los nexos para contactar con todos los colegas a nivel regional e internacional, y juntamente con Paratisol y el ISL y la facultad queremos pedir al decano, adelante Rocío, para entregarle una placa de reconocimiento a la profesora Spezzini, y también tenemos ahí unas otras cositas que queremos darle a la profesora Spezzini, pero primeramente solo esto. Entonces, vamos a ver acá. La placa está en inglés, aquí le voy a pedir a Rocío que lea.
Okay. It says like this: certificate of appreciation. This certificate is presented to Professor Susan Spezzini, PhD, for her outstanding dedication and advice towards the improvement of English teacher education quality in Paraguay. Okay, and we are very happy to have Susan. Susan is very special for Paratisol as well.
Thank you, Susan, once again. Thank you, decano, muchas gracias por estar aquí con nosotros. Ahora con esto culminamos la primera parte protocolar de este evento con la entrega de este reconocimiento, y vamos a entonces despedirnos del decano, quien con mucha generosidad, también con su tiempo, vino a acompañarnos. Bueno, muchísimas gracias, un fuerte aplauso nuevamente. Ahora tenemos, si quieren, tenemos 2 o 3 minutos, si quieren tomar agua, algo, antes de que Susan, o creo que Susan, you prefer to go start right ahead, right? 3 minutitos para que se instale la profesora Spezzini, y para que entonces pueden, hay café y cocido afuera, pero vuelvan enseguida porque no queremos que tarde mucho esto.
Sí, pero yo no sé si es diferente o es lo mismo.
Hello everyone, how are you? It is a big pleasure to be here. And as you know, I'm going to be talking about interactive techniques. To do that, we need to be just a little bit interactive. So with everybody that's here, from here back, will everybody please stand up. Everybody stand up. Okay, very good. The interaction that we're going to do right now is to move to the front of the room. So grab your stuff and move forward as an interaction. Okay, everybody move forward. Okay, very good. So everybody move forward. You guys are really great. You follow instructions wonderfully. All right. Now, excellent, excellent. Now you'll notice that some people are standing around the room in uniform. That means uniform dressed white, normally with jeans. That's really an easy type of way to distinguish them. They are the students in the 4th year here at the Instituto Superior de Lenguas. They're, at the end of this year, academic year, they will qualify for getting their Bachelor's of Arts in English and will receive it after they finish their thesis. Okay, but they're in their 4th year, and last night I had the privilege to be working with them in their class with Valentina, and they were learning these interactive techniques, and they will be your helpers through this, and they're going to go through and help everybody do these techniques. All right, so here, I'm from, as I mentioned before, the University of Alabama, Birmingham, and I'm here as a Fulbright scholar. 3 months last year, 3 months this year, but starting a couple years before that, I started interacting with Valentina, who had been my colleague 20 years ago. My time in Paraguay started in 1976, way before many of you were born, and when I came in with Peace Corps, and I was in Itapúa, Capitan Mesa, and it takes a while to get there. And it was, no electricity, no running water, no asphalt, and that was for 2 years. So as a Peace Corps volunteer, I also did some teaching of English in that tiny community. So I do know what it's like to teach English in areas that you don't have modern technology, or, not even lights, and you have to teach at night, okay? So, then when I got married and moved to Asunción, then I was working at the CCPA, I taught at Anglo, I helped with professional development at other institutions. Here at the ISL, I taught linguistics, not every year, but most years from 1980 to 2022. So that's quite, 2002, now we're in 23, okay, 2002. So during the 22-year period. And then I was at the American School of Asunción. So I had lots of wonderful experiences here in Paraguay. Then after I received my PhD, I got a job offer at the University of Alabama at Birmingham, right there, in the southeastern United States. I'm originally from California. Okay, so that's enough about me. And let's go to the next slide. Oh, yeah, that's on the next slide. All right, there is the book cover right there. And so I, as editor of the book, together with Valentina, we were also authors of the book. I authored 2.5 chapters, and Valentina authored 2.5. The half is because there's one chapter by both of us, chapter 1. But my whole focus in the teaching of English and in the preparation of English teachers is oral. The teaching of speaking and the teaching of pronunciation. Those are my 2 areas of expertise. This one, chapter 40, is called Strategies to Teach Speaking. And you say, well, how do I teach speaking? Well, they got to talk. You have to get them to talk. So if they're not talking, they're not learning how to talk. Okay? So you got them to talk, and you do that through activities and strategies. And I had over, in lots of moments I would be working with teachers, and I will go, well, I didn't see your students talking today. And they said, well, they talked yesterday. Or they're going to do it tomorrow. Or, my principal likes quiet classrooms. Well, those are not ways to get somebody to talk. They have to talk every day. So I tried coming up with a term that they can say, have you done oral interactive techniques today? That's kind of a long word. I thought, well, let's put them together and call it interactive peer-to-peer, because it's not peer to me. It's not a student to me, the teacher, or me to the student. It's peer-to-peer, everybody talking at once. So I came up with this in interactive peer-to-peer oral techniques, and its acronym is, click it, IPOTS, right there, good, IPOTS. And I thought of that name in about the year 2006, and it was at that time that iPods was coming out, and it made it kind of a catchy term to where my interns, teacher interns, could easier remember what they're supposed to do because they had this catchy term. And I could say, well, how many iPods are in your 45-minute lesson? Instead of how many interactive oral, that was very long. So it kind of worked for me that I was able then to help my interns when they're going to teach English learners, whether in a separate ESL class or integrated into subject matters like in a bilingual, like in a school, K-12 school. So that's how we came up with the term. I came up with the term. Next. Okay, each chapter, there's 55 chapters in this book. All right, I'm tired, okay? For over a year, I've been receiving the chapters from the authors, revising them, or let's say editing, or reviewing, and then revising, and then talking with the authors back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth. Probably I've read each chapter and reviewed it at least 6 times. Would everybody here who's an author of at least one chapter raise their hand? Come on, raise your hands, raise your hands. Okay, good. There's quite a few authors here. And they can attest to the fact that they had a lot of emails from me. And I was very, very glad that my colleague, Dr. Julia Austin, who was my mentor, and she's the one who invited me to work at the University of Alabama at Birmingham, and she has her PhD in rhetoric and composition and has such an ability to identify where it doesn't flow, where it needs some help. And she would point this out, and then I would try to work it out and share it with the author. And we're very pleased. We feel that we have, 55 quality chapters, a range of subjects, just like Valentina told you. Now, each chapter has those, I should stand this way, I guess, there's the camera that way. Each chapter has this template. There's front matter to each chapter, and then there is the text, and the text includes the introduction, the background, major dimensions, and pedagogical applications. And then you have exercises with the textbook. So after the text, then there's questions, taking action, expanding further, and then the back of the chapter, not the back of the book, the back of the chapter. So each chapter has this same template. So when you go to chapter 40, you go, oh, Dr. Spezzini said in chapter 40 are the iPods. Where are they? Well, to find them, you've got to go to the pedagogical applications part or section of the chapter, because the chapter has some theoretical and historical aspects at the beginning and some reasons why to do interactive techniques. Then you get the actual strategies in the pedagogical applications section. So that's where you're going to find it. All right, so what's today? Today's workshop, I'm sharing with you my favorite iPods. What is an iPod? It's any activity that has 2 students, 2 language learners talking with each other about something that is more authentic instead of just sort of a rehearsed repetition, right? Using authentic language with one another. So we have about 40 here, that not counting our wonderful assistants from the 4th course that are standing around, and you're all going to be talking at the same time, okay? So it's going to get nice and noisy. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is turn and tell. That's the first strategy, and we will use that for talking about favorite things, imaginary photos, and with puppets. Then we're going to do an iPod called Adding to the Circle. Then we will do one called Gap Filling Tango. Sounds fun, right? Yes, that's what these are for. They're fun. Then we have parallel lines and concentric circles. And then roaming reporters. And finally, hot onion. So those are 6 types of strategies. And we have about an hour probably to do those. And we're all going to have lots of fun with learning activities that your students, when you use these activities, it goes, teacher, can we play that game again? They think they're games, okay? They're learning activities. So, the first one is turn and tell. For this, you need a partner. So, find yourself a partner who's sitting next to you, okay? Remember, you have to go to this. This is your partner here. You can do it this way, okay? So, does everybody know their partner? Yeah, look at here. He's very smart. He's moving to be close to somebody to have a partner. Good. And here's somebody moving close. All right. So, you've got your partner. Of the 2 people, there's one of you that is sitting closer to the doors, right? right? Isn't there? Everybody of the two people who's sitting closest to the doors here, raise your hand. Everybody, for instance, look at any and knows that there's two. She's closest to that side of these two, so she's raising her hand. All right? So everybody who is on the door side, raise their hand. Come on, guys. Everybody, half of you should be raising your hand. Remigio, you're raising your hand. Yeah? All right. All right. So now everybody who's close, if it's your, yeah, you're okay. And then everybody who's closest to that side, raise your hand. All right, so that's the wall side and the door side. All right? So now, the first activity, so with this, you can have people talking about major points in a lesson. You can have them talking about defining vocabulary or using it. But this is going to be the today's. Today's going to be, what do you find most interesting about the book? The book. Is it my lifetime, the last year? What are you doing? Oh, I'm doing the book, okay? All right, so, Valentina. Okay. All right. Right, we're broadcasting live. All right, so hopefully, very often when I have a microphone, I'm told that my voice is so strong I need to hold it away. But now Valentina says I have to hold it closer. All right, so now, you've heard some about the book, the Teaching English in Global Context, Language, Learners, and Learning. You've heard that has 55 chapters, 61 authors from 9 countries. In the United States, there's represented authors from 10 different states. It has been a major undertaking, and it was financed my summer vacation last year, your winter. My summer vacation this year, your winter with summer weather, was financed by the U.S. government through Fulbright, okay? And also my time during the year that I dedicated to the book was part of my work as a faculty member, professor. Okay. So that what you know about the book, you're going to talk with your partner. Everybody knows their partner. The partner that is sitting closest to the windows or the doors here is going to ask the question, what do you find most interesting about the book? The partner who's sitting on the wall side will answer, and then the partner on the wall side will ask the same question. You got it? Okay. And we've got the partners, our helpers along the wall are going to wander through and just kind of say, oh, if they see you're not talking, they're going to say, can I help you? Okay? All right. They're not going to say, why aren't you talking, right? Everybody's got to be talking. So we should have, once I say go, ask the question, half of you will be talking with a partner and half will be listening. Got it? Okay, go. Talk. Okay, if you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. Oh, wow, with 2 claps, I got everybody's attention. Excellent. Okay, so with 2 people talking together like this, and we had about 40 people here, so about 20 people talking at once. What were you thinking, or how did it feel to be talking in a room where everybody else is talking at the same time? Huh? Pardon?
Like being at a concert.
Oh, like being at a concert. Well, then that's a happy feeling, right? Okay. What else were you thinking about? What else did it feel like?
Safe.
Pardon?
Safe.
Oh, it felt safe. Why did it feel safe?
Because even though I would make mistakes, nobody would notice.
Even if you make a mistake, nobody will notice, right? That's exactly one of the reasons why we work with pairs. Because it's safe and you feel secure, and then you can speak out loud. Okay, anything else? Okay, yes? Community, you're establishing community. Okay, let's go on to the next type of activity. This is favorite things. We are more willing to talk if we're talking about something we like. We are more willing to talk if we're talking about something that interests us. So what I want you to do right now is, do you have a pace? Do you need some paper? Do you have a pen or pencil? Can everybody find something? You have about 1 minute to find paper or a notebook or pen or pencil. If not, I have some stickies here for you.
Or you can use your phone.
Or you can use your phones. That's right. If you have your cell phones, you can do the notepad on the cell phone. All right, so while we're waiting here, I just want to let you know that we're very excited to have so many here to help us do this pre-launch of the book. By what our colleagues from other countries are telling us, because some of the authors are in renowned positions of TESOL in the world. And they're telling us that this book is unique, it's one of a kind for its depth, breadth, and quality. So if you are without a partner, then one of our helpers here will be your partner, okay? So we'll have pairs. All right, so I want everybody, can you click on the next one, what they're supposed to do? Demonstrate. No, don't do that one yet. Okay, what you're gonna write down is a 1-digit number, a 2-digit number, and a 4-digit number. So on your paper or on your phone, please write a 1-digit number, a 2-digit number, or a 4-digit number, and a 4-digit number. So you'll have 3 sets of numbers. You got it? Everybody, 1-digit number, 2-digit number, and a 4-digit number. Now, what I do want to mention here, you have in your life, in your professional life, in the past and in the future, you'll be attending workshops and professional development. And some of these professional development sessions will have a lot of meaning for you because they give you lots of good ideas. I learned this idea, what we're going to do right now. I can tell you the year, 1985. And I learned it when I was at the Centro Anglo working, and we had a professor coming in from London, and he was giving us a workshop. And there were certain ideas I learned during those 2 days with that professor that I still use today, and this is one of them. Okay, so you've got your 3 numbers. Now, click on the next slide. And not the next slide, the next one. Explain to your partner why you chose these numbers. The person that's sitting on the wall side is going to ask the question first and say, why did you choose your numbers? Okay? And then you're going to explain why you chose it. And then the person on the door side is going to ask the question. Okay? Ready? This side talk first. Go.
My wisdom. And the third line of numbers is my what about you? What? I chose number 7, my favorite number. Then I wrote it because it was the first time I randomly. Randomly. 1, 2, 3, 5. Yes, because they are the right number. I love right number.
Okay, if you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. Okay, good. I even got 3 claps on that one. Excellent. And it got a little bit louder. Why was this one a little bit louder than the previous?
We're more confident.
Oh, you're more confident now. Oh, you like the numbers?
Yes.
Or you like what's represented by the numbers?
Connection.
Oh, the connection. Are the connections, what about the connections of the numbers? And your lives, because the numbers for many of you represent something in your life. And when you're talking about you and your life, you become more excited. And it was louder because of the excitement, the connection. Okay? All right, let's go to the next one. The next one is imaginary photos. Now I'm going to show something here. I need a pen. Oh, here we go. Can I borrow your notebook too? Thank you. All right. Okay, so you're going to have a piece of paper, or you're going to have someplace in your phone, and you're going to draw 3 shapes. Like here's a circle, here's a triangle, and here's a rectangle. Okay, 3 shapes. Do you see them? Now those are photos from my photo album. Okay? A real photo album, one that we used to have, not like now on the phone, right? Real photo album. And can you see this here? Do you see that? You see that's my mom and my dad. I have one sister. And there we are. And this is a ranch, a chicken ranch in Southern California. That's where I grew up. You can see that, right? You see all the chickens? 30,000? Okay. Now, the next one was when I was a Peace Corps volunteer, 1977, 1978. And that's in Capita Mesa, Itapúa. And do you see the tall jungles? Well, they're not there anymore, but they were there when I was there, lots of jungle, and that's this. And this here, right here, this shows me at the University of Alabama at Birmingham, and that's all my graduate students, because I teach master's students and doctoral students. And so you see it's a pretty big university. I've got lots of students who are interested in teaching English learners. All right. So you notice how much detail is in my pictures there, right? Okay, so, thank you, Valentina. It's hard to have, you need 3 hands to do that. All right. My experience with photo albums is that when my children, my own children, were in elementary school and we had to take pictures, give them pictures to take to school. And very often we didn't get the pictures back. But the other thing is, sometimes you're working in an area where not all the children or adults have pictures to show. The other thing is, when you tell a student, draw a picture and talk about it, they're language learners. And speaking is more difficult than drawing for many of them. And they want to keep drawing because that's part of their expression. They say, no teacher, I'm not finished yet. Well, they're never going to be finished because they're going for perfection. Whereas if you do this, they just draw 3 shapes. And consequently, they can use their imagination to tell you what's in those shapes. And if you were just to say, tell me about your family, and they're not looking at anything, it's more difficult. But you say, tell me about what's in your picture, they point with it with their finger, and they can talk a lot more fluently because they've got something to point at, and they're actually kind of visualizing it. Right? So that's why, and this technique I also learned when I learned the other one about the numbers. And this is also one I use all the time. The other thing you can do with this one, let's say you're practicing past tense. Well, you could have them have 3 pictures of what they did last week. Let's say and then your whole activity would be using past tense. Let's say you're talking about future. Well, they can draw what they're going to do on vacation coming up, right? Or you're going to talk about conditional. What would you do? So whatever you're talking, whatever you're studying, you can use this to focus on that grammatical aspect. Okay, so you've all got your, did I tell you draw pictures? No, I just demonstrated. So everybody, please draw 3 shapes. Or air draw it like this. You can draw it in the air if you want. Did you drop it? Oh, I mean, you have to. This design is phenomenal. Up and beyond expectations. Okay? Okay, very good. So now, of your partners, the one who's seated closest to the door or window here will be the one who asks the question. I gotta click this to the next one. To ask a question, or the prompt. Please tell me about your photos, okay? So, start.
apretado. Estar apretado. Exacto. Esto es very safe. But in this picture, I see an airplane and the airplane.
If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. If you can hear me, clap 3 times. Excellent. So how was this experience? I haven't heard much, huh?
Awesome.
Awesome. Why?
Because we were sharing again things that we loved.
Just a moment.
We were sharing things that were meaningful for us, lovely memories, and we were just telling them about them.
Have you ever described an imaginary photo before?
No.
No, okay. What about over here? What were some things that you were thinking about or experiencing? Can you share them? Anybody? Pardon? Knowing more about the other person. And I noticed there weren't any gaps. People just kept talking. In the very back, Carol. The what? Uh-huh. Right. Oh, I see. So, very good. You were just made you think a lot. Okay. Yes. Oh, one of the chapters, exactly, because Carol is also an author of one of the, 2 of the chapters. Right. And so, yeah, there were some shapes in one of hers. Okay. Very good. Let's go to the next one. Oh, puppets. All right, so now, puppets. So here are some, you want to pass these out? Okay, all right. And here you guys can pass these out. But you can also, so they're going to give you some clothespins. One per person, I think there's enough. Yeah. And if you might have a puppet type of thing in you, or you might have like, I could use this scissors for a puppet, or if you have a pen or a pencil, like this here makes an excellent puppet to use that as a puppet. Okay, now, these wooden clothespins, as you know, at the supermarket, I just got the least expensive ones, and you can take this home as a souvenir. But what you do is, if you have working with children or adolescents, they can actually draw a face on it. And my experience with this is that the little girls draw girl faces and the little boys draw boy faces. But you can use it without the faces. Can somebody lend me their clothespin? I always thought that if they drew the face here, they would have the puppets talking like this. But most of them go like this, and the puppet is talking like that. Okay? But it can go either way. Now, you can also have socks to use for puppets. You can just use your hand as a puppet. Puppets are great in helping language learners talk. Because when they're using the puppet, the language learner, their inhibitions or fear of making a mistake are lowered. Because it's the puppet's fault if a mistake is made. They're holding the puppet is talking. Therefore, the child or adolescent or adult that's shy at talking tends to talk more if there's a puppet, okay? Because that mistake then is the puppet's fault. Okay, you guys have got your puppets now? Okay, so the same partners, but your puppets are going to talk to one another. Not you. So you're going to hold up your puppet, like here. Here, you guys, right here. See how the puppets are talking at one another, okay? So, or you can hold them vertically to talk to one another. Can you show me how they're going to talk? Right there, okay? They're talking. Okay, so this time the other partner is going to start, and the question is as follows. Okay? You can ask 1 or 2 questions. You can either ask your partner, why is turn and tell, which is what we've been doing, a useful speaking strategy? Or you can say, how can puppets help with learning a language or speaking a language? You can go either question or whatever question you want to ask related to that. You got it? Right now, ask your question. Okay, if you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. Very good. Your puppets behaved themselves very well. They all were talking. This is very good. And so, just by curiosity, those of you who are already teaching, how many of you have regularly used puppets or something like that in your classes? Anybody? We got somebody back here? I know that Carol does. Okay. All right. Very good. So, and you do, Valentina. So maybe a lot more will see how easy it is to use a puppet. And these, you know, what really fascinated me once, shortly a couple years after I got to Alabama, and I was observing our interns, and at that point the interns were mainly practicing teachers who were getting a master's degree, so learning how to teach ESL. And I went into a fourth grade classroom, and every student had their desk, right, in a fourth grade classroom. They were in pods or type of groupings. And on every student's desk there was like their name card, and they had these clothespins clipped on the name card. And so then when the teacher would say, and this wasn't necessarily an ESL class, I was observing social science, right? And then said, take out your puppet, or take out your friend, and then the friend would talk, right? And it was right there, and it had pictures on them or names on them, and I was going, wow, this is powerful. Now, this same teacher did the same thing. They took the puppet, and so hold up your puppet, and they said, have the puppet tell the lights about, and this was social science for United States, so westward expansion is the movement of colonization or homesteading, moving across the United States from east to west, right? Moving in the 1800s, 1700s, 1800s. So they said, tell the puppet about, have the puppet tell the lights about westward expansion. That was a new vocabulary, new concept, and they were defining it. Okay, so what I want you to do is have your puppet tell the lights why it's important to use puppets. Okay, can you do that? Everybody's going to talk at once. Take your puppet, have them talk to the light, and tell the lights why it's important to use puppets right now. Okay, very good. Excellent. Now, the same teacher, after the kids talked to the lights, had the kids turn down and tell their shoe. And I thought, wow. And, you know, these 4th and 5th graders were so excited about this. And so, you know, I'm not sure adults would react the same way. But just try, in this type of activity, when you have everybody having their puppet talk to the light or to a shoe or to an imaginary friend, you've got 100% of the students talking at the same time, not just half. Okay, my goal is for half to talk at the same time, but this is 100% are talking. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, adding to the circle. Here we're going to have, this is an activity that I didn't learn in a teacher preparation course. I did not learn in a textbook. I learned from real life. And my real life experience for this was being a Cub Scout leader. Cub Scouts being like Boy Scouts. And there was I had two little boys, I have 2 men now, but anyway. One of the activities in the Cub Scout book was for them to like go on a bear hunt or go to space, and you got to take the different activities, different things with them. And I'm going, oh, now that sounds like using language and repeating grammatical structures. Then, but I didn't use it yet for language. But then a couple years later, I went to a leader training, and I happened to be with Paraguay, Kansas, where we were active volunteers. And there was somebody helping for us all to meet one another and get to know one another. And we were doing the activity I'm going to show you now. And as it was going from one person to the next, I was going, repetition of grammatical structure, repetition of words, authentically interacting. I thought, well, that would be good. And I was teaching at actually that time, the experience came first. I was at the Anglo at the time. And I tried it out with my adult students, and it worked, okay? So we're going to start right here. We have some very prominent people in the first row here. And so give the next one here. All right. So this is the example. I'm going to say, I'm Susan and I like iPods. Okay? And then our first person in the row here is going to say, she's Susan and she likes iPods. Now, guess what? There's she's, a final S, it's a contraction, right? And then, and she likes, and then she's going to say, I'm, and here the example says, I'm Tom and I like football. And then the third person goes, she's Susan and she likes iPods. He's Tom and he likes football. And I'm Bill and I like. And it's going to go clear down here. And then, so you guys have to listen. Okay, got it? And then we'll see where we go after that.
We have another. So she's Susan and
Yeah.
she's Susan and she likes iPods. I'm Cynthia and I like pizza.
Pizza, okay.
She's Susan, she likes iPods. She's Cynthia, and she likes pizza. I'm Julia, and I love swimming.
Okay.
She's Susan, she likes iPads. She's Cynthia, she likes pizza. She's... No, me? Julia. And she loves swimming. I'm Christian and like chocolate.
She's Susan, she likes iPods. She's Cynthia, she likes pizza. She's Julia, she likes swimming. He's Christian, he likes chocolate. And I'm Remy, and I like Italian food.
Like what?
Italian food.
Italian food. So he likes Italian food. So notice that when Remigio was doing this, he had to switch from she to he. You did it beautifully. You remember? Yeah, for me.
All right. She's Susan and she likes iPods. She's Cynthia and she likes pizza. She's Julia and she likes swimming. He's Christian and he likes chocolate. I don't remember your name, I'm so sorry.
Remigio.
He's Remigio and he likes Italian food. I'm Valeria and I like sleeping.
Okay.
Oh my god. Okay, so she's Susan, she likes iPods. She's Cynthia, she likes pizza. She's Julia, she loves swimming. He's Christian, he likes chocolate. He's Remigio, he likes Italian food. She's Valeria, she likes sleeping. And I am Jimena, and I love cats.
Love cats. Okay, so we can keep going. You know, if you have 20 in your class, you can have them repeat all 20, or you can say, just repeat the last 5. But notice that all of you guys were very much focused. First of all, you're focused to meet your colleagues here. But the other thing is, you're focused just to see, do they remember? Wow, these 2 ladies here had remarkable memory, and they didn't know that I was going to pass the mic to them. So please give a big round of applause to the people. Okay. I thought about having the rows do it all simultaneously, but it's not going to work with a lot of people talking at once because you have to hear what the other people said. You know, so this doesn't work for demonstrating a full, but we could do another round, or we'll just move on to the next activity. But I just want you to know this works extremely well on the first day of class. Extremely well. Because when you're doing this, and I've done it very often to initiate the first day of class with a new class of students, because you're listening to their pronunciation. You're going to write, just like I wrote the sentences up there, you'll write them on the board, but with greater clarity, and they can see it, so they can look at the sentences. You're going to see, how are they doing? Do they feel confident? Are they getting the final consonants pronounced? Are they using the contractions? Even though it's an advanced class, you will have an idea of how your students are at the beginning. You can also do this, let's say you're doing past tense. You can do it on Monday and ask them, what did you do this weekend? This weekend, I watched a movie. This weekend, he watched a movie and I played soccer. This weekend, he did a movie, she did this, I did this. And so they're all doing past tense. You can do it on a Friday to talk about future. What are you going to do this weekend? And then they're all using future again and again and again, right? So it works really well. All right, and I see you there smiling a lot. What makes you like this activity? You want to try it with the students. What grade do you teach? What age? Adolescents. Oh, they love it because they're talking about themselves. Yeah. All age groups like to talk about themselves, but adolescents really want to talk about themselves, okay? All right, next one. All right, now, this here is called a hot tango. I mean, this is called tango. And why? Because you're going to be seated with two chairs that are, let me think. Okay, yeah, let's take this one. All right, facing in different directions. This chair faces this direction. This chair faces this direction. And they are, and they can see one another. They can talk. I originally learned this activity when I was studying to be a foreign language teacher. That was in the 70s. And we did it back to back. And if you're back to back, you cannot see one another. And talking, you should see one another. Also, back to back, I have to speak really loudly for my voice to go out, around, come into the ear of my partner, who's behind me. And you can't. So when you do this tango sitting, you can look at one another. So I need two of my volunteers to come up. They're the 4th grade course, okay? So you're going to sit like we did yesterday evening. Now notice they can see one another. Can you see one another? Oh, you can see one another. Okay, one is going to have an A. And hold it to B. And notice that these pages look different, right? Because this says partner A and the title is over here. This is partner B, the title is there. Also, B it has a shadowing here. And why is that blocked like that? So that I, from the distance, can look at two partners and see if one has one and the other has the other. If you make the pages identical, you have to get up really close to see if they're doing it correctly. But this way, then they are, you can see it at a glance. So the partner A, I'm going to hold these, Valentina, and go to the next slide, please. Okay, so the partner A has script A, and script A has full sentences on the odd lines. So 1, 3, 5, and 7 are full lines, full sentences. And partner A has gaps on the even, 2, 4, 6, 8. Whereas partner B, okay, if you go to the next slide. So there's A, where you see that the odd lines are full sentences and the even lines have gaps. And then B, hit on B, the next slide, hit on B, and there you will see that the odd lines have gaps and the even lines have full sentences. So we're going to have a demonstration. Here, you get the A, and you have the B. So the demonstration is partner A is going to read the first sentence.
Today's goal is to show why teachers need to be aware of.
Okay, and partner B, just now, do you have a pen?
No, I don't.
You don't have a pen? Okay, have a pen. All right, so read it again.
Today's goal is to show why teachers need to be aware of.
Okay. Do you need, partner B, do you need to have him repeat it?
No, I don't.
Okay, good. So now please read number 2.
The speaking challenges faced by English learners.
Okay, maybe read it again because he was kind of slow starting.
The speaking challenges faced by English learners.
Okay, good. So you see right now they did sentence 1 with partner A reading it and partner B writing. And then sentence 2, partner B was reading it and partner A was writing it. In these 2 sentences, they've each done 4 skills. Listening, speaking, reading, and writing, right? All 4 skills. So our wonderful assistants are passing out paper. I need you to move your chairs like this or kind of sit. Here, Christian and Remigio are going to show you how they give each other the shoulder. No, don't even move your chairs. Just give each other a shoulder. Like this, like that. So they can do it like that too, okay? All right. And so you can move your chairs or you can just sort of sit shoulder to shoulder like that. Okay. So now, let's get everybody accommodated.
Thank you, guys.
And you're not supposed to look at the other person's piece of paper. Okay, so now, partner A and each of the dyads, each of the partners, partner A now read sentence 1 and partner B write sentence 1. Who needs paper? Raise your hands. Who needs paper? Here we got paper being passed out. Okay? Does everybody have paper now? Okay, partner A read, partner B write, and then reverse when you get to number 2. Go. Okay, when you finish, both of you turn looking the same direction. Compare your answers with each other to see if you got the correct words. Don't worry if you spelled them incorrectly, just if you got the correct meaning. Okay, so now we'll move to the next slide. Okay, now this one we're going to do parallel lines, okay? And parallel lines, and I think we can do it all in one long line, I'm not sure. Or we'll put two, yeah, right. Well, but people, okay, all right. Parallel lines is when you form a line against this wall or that wall or down the middle, and then another group of students faces you, so you are facing. And then we're going to have one student move to the end, everybody moves up one, so that you can ask the same question 10 times, right? 10 times and get interaction with 10 different partners, okay? And we're going to demonstrate that here. Let's look at and you don't have to actually be standing. You can also move chairs. You know, if some of you I asked the partners back there to put 10 chairs against the back wall and then 10 chairs facing it. So we'll have 2 parallel lines back here that are seated. Yes. Okay. Now, if you're working with 4 and 5-year-olds, they don't know how to stand in one place and they don't know how to sit in one place. Okay? And so what you do with 4 and 5-year-olds, you have to have them sit on the floor, crisscross, you know, like cross-legged, and then one of them stands up and they change places. But that's a good way. So, you know, we're going to have we're going to demonstrate here with some people standing, but then other people are going to go back there because it was yesterday in class with the 4th course that one of them said, oh, we do this, but they're sitting. So if we actually set up those chairs back there with 2 rows, then we actually create more space on the floor instead of those chairs just being there. Okay, so first we're going to have 10 people come up and demonstrate. So let's take from here, I want the 8 of you, plus you 2, come to the front. You don't carry anything with you, just come to the front. You think down the middle? Okay. Yeah, I think here. Let's go right here. All right, so come up here. I want one of you to stand right here. Okay, another one here. Looking at another one there. Good. Right here. Another one here. Okay. Another one here. It doesn't make any difference. Okay, another one here. Okay. And you go to the far end, I guess. Let's move this chair out of the way. Okay. Oh, that's not going to work with the... come here, ma'am. Oh, yeah, right there. Good. Use the look across it. Okay, now I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more people to come up. 8 more. Yeah. I need 8 more people. Here we go. 4. Come on. 2. I need 2 more people here. Okay. Okay. So go forward and stand across from somebody at a conversational distance. Okay. I need one more person. One more person. Can you be... One more person. Who's going to be my other person? Okay, here we go. Very good. One more person. Okay, now, the question is going to be as follows. You're going to talk, and then then one of you are going to move, okay? So, put the slide to the next one. Let me see what my question was. Oh, yes. Describe your favorite oral activity. So, the first line that we made is the wall line, because you're closest to the wall. Everybody in the wall line, raise your hand. That's the wall line. You're going to ask the question for the person across from you. Describe your favorite oral activity. It can be an oral activity that you do in your classroom that you've done as a student or as a teacher. It doesn't have to be from tonight, right? So describe your oral activity. And then the person in the parallel line, which is this one, will answer it and then ask the same question. Okay, so everybody now in the wall line, ask the question. Describe, or the prompt. Describe your favorite activity. Go ahead. Okay, if you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. Okay, now, we've got to make this line here is the wall line. You guys are going to stay where you are. You're never going to move, okay? Sorry, when you're doing this with kids, they go, I didn't get to move. Well, then, they can next time. But right now, this is the line that's going to move. Now, I've done this in many different ways. I've tried to ring a bell, but the students that are interacting in the line are so happy talking, they don't hear the bell, okay? I've tried to scream and say, move, and it doesn't help. They still want to act. So then I came up with a different way. And what is your name? Oh, yeah, right, Valeria. Is going to be the first one to demonstrate how this goes, okay? And the thing is, you're going to walk between the lines, and you're going to tell everybody in the parallel line there, you're just going to say, please move. And you're going to go like this. You're going to say, please move, and you're going to keep walking down till you get to the end. When you get to the end, everybody will have moved. Can you do that, Valeria? Okay, please go ahead. Didn't Valeria do a good job? Give her applause, okay? All right, now we're going to go again. You're going to ask the same question, but now you're even better at asking the question and answering it because you've already done it once, okay? So go ahead, wall line, ask your question. They're going to answer on the other, then you ask it back again, okay? And then at one point while you're talking, what's your name? Jimena, that's right, I remember now. Jimena is going to go, and you're going to all be talking, and I'm just going to say, go ahead, Jimena. And then, actually, and your name? Melanie. Melanie's in charge. Melanie, when you feel that you've talked enough with Jimena, you're going to tell Jimena, go ahead and tell him to move. Okay? And so then I'm just going to be the teacher. I've taught you guys how to do it. I'm going to back away, and you're all going to do it, and you're in charge. Okay? All right? Everybody now talk. Yes, just keep talking. Okay. Now, back here, I want all of you guys to get up and take chairs. Everybody come up and sit back here. Yes, I think so. Come back here. All right, come back here. Sit in these. Okay? Sit in these chairs. Come this way, over here. Okay. Both 2 rows filled in. Come on back. Let's fill these in. Come on, let's come back here. Let's fill in these chairs. But we gotta go move closer this way. We gotta go this way. You need to, guys, fill in this way. Okay, come on, let's fill in these chairs. Okay, now. All right, here we go. All right, now. Okay, so over here. Okay, over here, you might need to move your chairs up a little bit more so you can talk. Okay? Okay. Huh? You're not going to leave room, but they can't. This one will go. You guys are going to go around because, okay, so you're going to talk. This is the wall line. Okay, this is the wall line, and you're going to say, what was your favorite oral activity? You're going to answer. Then she's going to ask, this side asks, this side answers. Then this side asks, this side answers, okay? Then when that's done, you don't have room to walk here, so you're going to come, and we're going to make one switch right now. Come with me, stand up. You're going to go around, and you're going to go like this. Please move, please move, please move. You got it? Okay, sit down. And then everybody moves, right? Okay, talk. Oh, yes.
Sorry.
Okay, you've talked now, right? Okay, now get up and get them to move.
I think we're done. Like good wording side of the than many students. This is my child. Can you do like 3-4 students? Maybe 6, yeah. Yeah, good inside, right? Yeah. You are the same like to work in high school.
Now, with the group that is in the front here, the group that is in the front, you guys went all the way through, right? Yeah. You're almost back to, how was it? Yeah? You met so many people, and you talked a lot. Have you done something like this before? Okay.
Enjoyed.
Yeah, but the thing is, repeating it a lot, didn't you get better at saying it? And it went more quickly, and you were more confident. So by repeating it so often, you get more confidence. Now, I want you guys to watch over here. Look what they're doing. Everybody just turn around and watch the other people. We had them sitting in chairs, and because they're sitting in chairs, they had to get very close, and therefore, they couldn't walk down the middle. So now you're going to watch a different way. Just stay here, and you're going to watch a different way to change, to make a move. Okay, can you get them to move? Notice here that the learners are in charge. The learners are in charge. I'm just teaching the learners how to be in charge, and they're following the orders given them by another classmate, right? There's a classmate who tapped them on the shoulder and said, please move, and they all follow the instructions. So that's, yes, question.
How do you do to get your students not to talk in Spanish, because that's what they want to do?
How do you get them not to talk in Spanish? Well, you have to, I know that there's a they want to all the time talk in Spanish. Try this to where, and you're walking back and forth, and you're just saying you have to stay in English. Maybe you're going to give them points at the end. I don't know. But this is what, 20 people there? Most of your classes, what size are they? Yeah, something like that, a little bit less, a little bit more, but maybe giving points, or maybe as they do it, once they repeat it 4 or 5 times, they get better and better at staying in English.
Also, if you already have something, especially if they're low levels, you give them something easy to say, and they'll repeat it in English. So it's not like you're asking them something hard like this. You ask them, what's your favorite color, or what's your favorite food, or something simpler depending on the level of the student.
Right. You know, so, and you could ask the students, what are you interested in? This is louder. Oh, wow, this is louder. Okay, so you could ask the students, what are you interested in? Because we want to practice English, and it's easier to practice when you are talking about something you like. Let them give the topics, okay? So everybody sit down. All of you guys sit down. Everybody give each other applause. Okay, now, sometimes, here you can see the first interaction. This was a class of 8 people. So the 8 people on the left are A, B, C, D, standing in the wall line. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, standing in the parallel line. Then the one at the bottom, number 4, moves over, number 1 at the top, moves around and is in the bottom. You have new pairs, A2, B3, C4, D1. Then the one at the top, which is number 2, moves to the bottom of the next configuration. And so you have A3, B4, C1, D2. And then the person at the top, which is number 3, moves to the bottom. And then you have A4, B1, C2, and D3. All of you did this. This is just a diagram, right? A sketch. But all of you were experiencing how the one person at the top moves to the bottom. And then after they move, everybody moves forward. You also saw that when it's your classmate or group mate telling you to please move, because you know the rules of the game, it's a game, right? It's a learning activity. Then they move. Now we had a question, well, how do you keep them in Spanish? How do you keep them from speaking Spanish from speaking English? Because we want them to speak English. You know, you could ask them what their favorite, what they want to talk about. But they have to, well, only talk about it if they stay in English. You know, maybe you give them points, but you're on the outside monitoring, and you're listening, and you just have to see how does it work for you. But I do know that you're going to have everybody talking at once. Now, a different way to do that, and I don't have an easy answer to that question, how to keep them in English. I really don't. But they're not going to get used to speaking in English if you don't give them fun opportunities and authentic opportunities to talk in English. If you're just having them say something that they read about in the book, they might not stay in English. Right? And so you just have to experiment, see what works for you. The rules, or let's say the explanations I'm giving here, have worked for me, but they might not work for you. Maybe you have to adjust it. Okay? And also you might want to let your principal or director know that you're going to be doing activities where everybody's talking at once and it might be a bit noisy. And that's how you learn English, is for our language when it's a bit noisy. Sometimes you don't have long spaces like walls here or up in front. Sometimes you have smaller areas and you can make circles. So we're going to see, I need 7 people to come up and demonstrate. 7 people. 7 people, stand up. Come on, 7 people come forward. 7. Okay. Okay, come on, people, 7. It's an easy, that's all I have. Okay. Yeah, but there should be, they helped us today yesterday. I need 7 new people. Okay, here I got 5, right, 6. I need a 7. Here we go, 7. All right, now, we're going to make a circle. And I find the easiest way to make a circle is for you guys to circle around tight and look at one another. A circle looking at one another. Okay, you got it? Okay, now turn around and look the outside, towards the outside. You see, that's my inside circle. Now, sometimes when I try to form an inside circle by saying, make a circle and look at one another, it takes forever. But if I say, make a circle looking outside, it's hard. But if I say, make a circle looking inside, and then turn around. Now I need 7 other people to stand up and talk with them. 7 more people. Up, come on. Here, 4 people, stand up. Go forward. Okay? There's 5, 6, come on. Yes, I need you too. Right here. Come on. Okay. All right? We still have 2 more over here. Okay, another person. What about you? Don't you? You're such a good volunteer. Okay, very good. Now, yeah, okay. So now we've got too many now. Yeah? No, there's 2 people here talking with Hilda. Okay. Okay, the 2 of you can go together. Okay, there we go. All right. All right. So when you have an uneven number, an odd number, then you can put 2 together to walk together. So the people on the inside are going to ask the question, what's your favorite activity? The ones on the outside are going to answer. The one on the outside is going to ask the question. And then I'm going to give the command to rotate, okay? So everybody inside, ask the question. Okay. Now, Remigio, what's your name?
Juan Carlos.
Juan Carlos. So Juan Carlos, I want you now to tell the person next to you, please move. You're going to tell the next person, please move. And they're going to tell each other to please move until you get all the way around. Okay, can you start? Okay, now, the inside person asks the question again. Notice that the 2 women here that are acting like one person, they're moving together. Okay? Okay, Juan Carlos, start again. Okay, if you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. Okay, can we give a big round of applause to these 14 volunteers, and they're going to have a seat. Okay? You're welcome. Okay, so everyone have a seat. Of the volunteers that were up here demonstrating the concentric circles, how did you feel the difference between the parallel lines and the concentric circles? What difference was there? Was there a difference? Were they the same?
I think I could hear my partner better than in the parallel line.
Were you standing closer?
Maybe. No, I think it was the same.
Or maybe it was not as many people talking. This was 7 by 7, and the parallel lines we had about 10 by 10, and then we had another 10 by 10. Cynthia, you had something.
Yeah, well, actually, for me, it was the opposite. It was easier to talk when we were in parallel lines than in a circle. And also, there's more chances that people get too close to someone when we are in the concentric circles rather than in parallel line.
Okay, so too close was a concern, to get too close. Just a moment, here's somebody.
Yes, also with the circle, you can't see who's coming up next. And when you can see who's coming up next, maybe you have some sort of expectation. I don't know if you know that person. You know what I mean?
This was very interesting. Of the many times that I've done this activity and asked for feedback, that's the first time that you as a speaker and user of the language wanted to know who was coming instead of going around look who's here now. That's true, because when you circle, the person coming around the circle isn't within your eye shot until they get there, right? That's interesting. Some other comments, questions? You're concerned?
For me, it was faster. The turning around was fast. I mean, I could see the other person, and the other person came along, and it was a faster.
Was it a faster activity, or the fact that the people participating were trained already to move? You know, because you guys in the parallel lines took you more time to move because you didn't know the activity. And then with the concentric circles, you were using perhaps what you'd learned from the parallel lines to know you had to move. When you're doing the concentric circles, or even the parallel lines with young children, they don't tend to walk to the next spot, they tend to jump to the next spot. So there's different ways to move from one spot to the next. Very often with young children, if you're having them sit on the floor and you have carpet swatches where they're sitting on, or then they know they stand up, they move, they sit on the floor, they talk. You could also, I've seen it done with small whiteboards that they're carrying. They have a marker, and like they're doing math, 2 plus 3. So you can have a first grade class doing what is 2 plus 3? And the other person says 2 plus 3 is 5. Right? So you can do content as well, even with little ones. I've also taken groups outside, like a class of 22, and you do 11 by 11. I even, at the American school, when we were trying to do this for the teaching of Guarani, had the grounds people draw 2 circles and number them 1 to 12 on the inside, and 13 to 24 on the outside, not to make a clock, 24-hour clock, but so that the numbers were there, so the children in a class that had 24 could go out and then talk to each other using what they were learning in Guarani, okay? So, I mean, it could be for any language. So I had another classroom where I actually drew the circles on the inside because it was old brick flooring. It wasn't pretty flooring. We just kind of drew it. Or you could take chalk and do it on a carpet. But you actually don't need to draw the circle. You just need to know how to get the students to form the circles. Any comments, questions, insights about the parallel lines and concentric circles that somebody would like to add? Yes?
Wouldn't it be better if there is like free of topic, you can talk about whatever, or it would be worse?
What is your opinion about having a free topic, talk about whatever, or giving some structure?
It can be done. It just depends on the level of the students. Yeah, their language abilities.
Right. It depends on the language abilities. It depends on your rapport with the students, on the types of interactions that you have with the students. If you say talk about anything, I think you're going to have them more move into Spanish. You know, like here, very risky. They talk about anything. Hey, che, cuate, right? And whereas you say, this is what we're going to talk about, but make sure it's something of interest to them. Yes.
Also, when you do that, they might not know what to say. So, and that's sometimes a problem because they may ponder too long about what am I going to say. When you ask, it could be like favorite things, anything, then it's easier for you to think about something to talk when you have a prompt.
The other thing with the prompt is, if you have like a half sheet of paper and you give each one something like this, here, and you tell them, we're going to talk about this, and they write down their question, and they carry this with them. So they have the question in front of them. And so, and it does, not a whole sheet, that's too long, half a sheet or a quarter a sheet, but something like a card, and this could be a talking card. And this gives them more confidence, just like when we started with the peer-to-peer, the turn and tell. You actually wrote down some favorite numbers, or you wrote down something on this, and you were able to talk more. So in the parallel lines and concentric circles, it often works much better if they're carrying something and you have them write it first before they form the lines, because they aren't going to be carrying pencil with them. Now, possibly you want to do the lines with them gathering data, right? Like, then, but we're going to do that on this activity now. Well, first let's look at these. You see up there? You see how they want to do that again, Valentina? Go back a step. Okay, you see that one's with one, two's with, then they move. I just want you to say, oh, how pretty, because it took me a long time to do that. Okay, and then the next one there, they're moving again. Okay, so you can remember that the outer circle moves. You can also have the inner circle move. Valentina does it to where the outer circle moves right, the inner circle moves left, right? Both of them, everybody moves right. Okay. But I always do it with just one. The reason I do that is to give them autonomy. Once I know how to do it, I can just step back, and then you have somebody designated as the leader, and that leader knows when it's time to move. And that they initiate their own moving, and I don't have to then interact. Not that I don't want to, but I want them to have the privilege to make the decision of when it's time to move. And if I'm going back and forth between inner and outer, then I have to always signal, and I want them to signal it themselves. All right, next one. Okay, roaming reporters. So what I need here is, if you have a sheet of paper or you need a sticky note or whatever, but you're going to write down, you're going to do like a survey, and you want to, and everybody's going to, when I give you the signal, everybody's going to stand up and you're going to roam. Roam, like roaming on your telephone, right? You're going to roam in physically through the room, talking to new partners and writing down whatever, like, what is your favorite animal? Or what is your favorite thing? And you're going to write down and do a survey. So what's the question they're going to ask? Vacation. Okay, so everybody likes vacation. So when you write down on the piece of paper, what is your favorite vacation? If you don't want to find out from people about their vacation, put down, what is your favorite pet? What was your favorite subject? Who is your favorite teacher? But you're going to, and if you need a pad or a Post-it, our helpers here are passing out little Post-it notes if you need to write on something. Okay? So decide what you're going to ask about. Are you asking about vacation, animals, teachers, countries, cities, subjects? Okay? So has everybody selected what they're going to ask about? Because you can all be asking something different. It'd be very boring if everybody asked, what is your favorite vacation? All right? And when you then carry, this time you're going to carry the paper with you and the pen, and you just, if somebody says, what was your favorite vacation? Somebody says the beach. You're going to write down beach. Thank you. Then the other person's going to ask you their question. Then you're going to move on, and we're going to do this for a while until you've had a chance to talk to about 6 or 7 people. Okay? Ready? You got your question? Stand up and start roaming. You're one of the. If you haven't yet already, please find another partner. Move on. Okay, you should be done with your second partner. Find a third partner. Everybody should be moving on to a third partner. This is a mix and mingle. Okay, now move on to another partner, please. This is a fast one. You don't stay long. Move to find another partner. Be creative in how to move across the space. Okay, would everyone please sit down now? Please sit down. If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. If you can hear me, clap 3 times. And please have a seat. Okay. Some feedback on this one. What was it like? Have you done something like this before? No? Did you? What did you feel like? That you had freedom to wander? Was it good? Bad? It was interesting. From what perspective? Okay. Didn't follow any structure or rules, just wandering. Did you talk to a lot of people you had never met before? All of them were new for you. Okay, what about here? What were some impressions or experiences that you had? Nothing? Everybody's nodding? Do you think this would work with your classes? Yes, Remigio.
I think it's a good activity for skills integration because we apply all the macro skills with this activity.
Okay, so you're listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Then, what did you ask about?
I asked about favorite subjects and places.
Okay, and so what did you discover?
I discovered that people like different things. People ask different questions as well. People ask questions like places, like animals, feelings, so many things.
So there were a lot of different acts. Now, if you had a wide open space, because I was noticing there just isn't enough space to move widely or freely here. So I figured, well, about 5 interactions was enough. But if you had everybody in the class moving around, and then they could actually chart and chart the responses that they got. So you could combine this with like doing statistics or something. How many did you find that did that? So it has a lot of variation. You don't have to do it like I did it. I know yesterday Valentina was talking about find somebody who. That's also roaming and going from partner to partner where you're filling out a sheet. Well, we're now to the last activity, and it's called hot onion. And hot onion is when you're going to, the onion is the paper crumpled together, and I'm going to demonstrate how to do that. And each strip has a different prompt, and all of the prompts have to do with iPods. So this is our review. We can call it the hot onion review. I used to call this, when I learned about it, a hot potato. And somebody said, but this isn't like a potato. Potato doesn't have layers. This is an onion. It has layers. So that's why I call it a hot onion. And I've never seen anybody else call it a hot onion. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate, and maybe while I'm doing this, Valentina can hold the microphone again because I need two hands. So, what we're going to do is, you see I have one piece of paper, it has 3 prompts on it, right? Another piece of paper has a different 3 prompts. And a third piece of paper has a different 3 prompts. In other words, there are a total of 9 prompts, right? All right, so, and they're on my computer. So every time I do an activity, a workshop on iPods, I don't have to redo the paper, right? I just go to it saved on my computer and go print, and I have it. So you can also write it by hand. So here, I'm going to cut, and I make the strips like this. Okay, it's quite easy. And the reason I'm showing it to you is sometimes I have people doing the activity, and then they said, what did you use? Well, 3 pieces of paper and 9 lines, and I cut. All right, so then, what you do is you take these 9 strips, there's 9, and you take the first one and you crumple it up like this. It's great stress reliever, okay? You do another one and you can talk and you can watch TV while you're doing it, and you can actually be the passenger in a car doing long distance driving, and you can say, okay, I'm going to, I do this a lot. I give a lot of demonstrations about this, so I found a lot of very creative ways to cut this paper and then crumple it up, and you create this onion that has layers to it, okay? All right, so I made the onion, right? Has layers. Now look up here on the next slide. One slide more. All right, so up there you see one sheet of paper that has 3 prompts and the dotted lines where I cut, correct? Yeah, so that you can remember that. Then the next one has, you see at the bottom there, that first little one on the left, that was 1 strip of paper crumpled. The next one was 3 strips of paper crumpled. Then 6 strips, and then the one on the far right is this. All right, what you're going to do now is, don't do it yet, just listen. You're going to stand up and form circles, or it doesn't have to be a beautiful circle. It can be like the first row here, turning around, watching the second row, looking at the second row, and it could be the 6 of you without really forming a circle, okay? Or you can come out here and form a circle, go back there, but get about 6 people in it and up here. So form these circles or groups of 6 people, and each group will get 1 hot onion, okay? So right now, form groups, standing up. Oh yeah. All right, there you go. Pass them out. Okay, now the helpers are going around and they are giving each group 1 hot onion. As soon as you get your hot onion, like here, one student is going to unwrap it and then show the strip to the others and say puppets. And then the person getting the strip is going to talk about what puppets mean as a strategy, right? Why would you use it? And then when you're done talking, you're going to take your hot onion and toss it to somebody else in your group. And if you don't know, if you get something that says adding to the circle and I forget what that one was, the other people help you. It's collaborative. You're not put on the spot as having to really know the answer. The other people can help you. You got it? So when it says everybody who has a hot onion who's holding one, hold up your hot onion. Everybody with an onion, hold it up. This group, do you have a hot onion here? Okay. Is there a group that needs another onion? You only have one hot onion per group. Every group has one now. Yeah? Okay. So the person who's holding it, unravel the outside, show what you have to everybody else, say it, and then talk about it. And then when you're done, then you're going to hold on to that and toss the rest to the hot onion. Got it? Go. I think so.
Favorite thing. So you turn to your partner and you start waiting. Your favorite numbers or something.
Moving forward. So this is a good activity for student interaction. So you will ask questions to a particular person, you take notes, and then you find another person, and you do it several times.
can help you to not be shy anymore and just feel comfortable with saying whatever they want to say.
Okay, even though a couple of the groups have finished, others aren't quite finished, but let's all just sit down. Okay? Move to the Okay, so you guys did a great job with the hot onion. Any feedback on the hot onion? Did you like it? This is usually my students' favorite. They just think it's great. And they, again, you can establish your own rules how to do it, but it's very easy. All you have to, and they can even make their own strips, sort of surprise. So it depends on your class. Anyway, what I'd like to say, this last slide here is thank you. That's me from 20 years ago when I left Paraguay. I was given that caricature, so I thought you'd like to see what I looked like 20 years ago. Anyway, with that, I'd like to say you were a great group, and I'm going to pass the mic back to Valentina.
Well, one more time, I would like to thank you all for coming, but very especially thank Professor Susan Spezzini for coming to Paraguay, for helping me put together the wonderful book that we're hopefully launching it very soon, and also giving these wonderful workshops last year, this year, and for us it's been really great to be able to see her again, to be able to have her here, to share with her. I mean, some of us were her students, some of us were not her students, but worked with her or met her. I met Susan 30 years ago when I was a student at the ISL. I was not her student, but I met her. She was the president at Paratisol, and she was already a big celebrity in the Tisol community here in Paraguay, and she gave these wonderful workshops like the one you had today. And so I always remember one when, she taught poetry, how to teach poetry. Remember those? And I remember even her telling us that she wasn't a great poetry writer, but that didn't matter because we can all get our students to write poetry, even if we're not great poets, and that's a great activity. And like these activities too, I mean, there's all kinds of variations. It's really great to be able to learn to speak English. We want to also thank our fourth year students who were our helpers today. Please give them a round of applause. And most especially also thank Adrian, our almost graduate in the back, who offered to take pictures. He actually asked permission to take pictures. And last but not least, Francisco Busso from Facultad de Filosofía, who has been here all afternoon broadcasting this on Facebook Live. So please, when you get home, share this broadcast with your friends. If you like these activities, they will be saved on our Facebook page. We will also download, actually Francisco will download the video and we'll have it on YouTube as well, so that you can have it, you can use it with your students, you can use it to teach your students how to teach. So please share the love. And before we go, I would like to give Susan another certificate. This is for tonight's presentation. This certificate is proudly presented to Susan Spezzini for leading the workshop Peer-to-Peer Oral Techniques on August 4th, 2023. So please give Susan another round of applause. And we don't want, Susan brought me a present, and that, I'm not very good at those things. So that showed me that, maybe we need to give Susan a present for all she's done in not just now, but throughout the years. So I have a kind of strange wrapping for a present for her and for Dr. Julia Austin. So I'm going to ask Susan to take this strange wrapping. I think I'm going to have to unwrap it for you because otherwise it's going to be hard. So this is a bag made by indigenous communities, and then the actual present is inside. So, but it's part of the present too.
Oh, very nice. Thank you very much. Thank you to all of you. And I'm very curious as to what's inside the bag. Oh, nice. Isn't that pretty?
So I have to tell you, Susan also remind me that we had she had a plaque made for Julia Austin. So I wanted to add something to it because Julia has been so great to us in the book. So one of these is for Susan, and one of these is for Dr. Julia Austin. So please, Susan, take this back to Julia. You get to pick, or maybe you can have Julia pick, whichever way you prefer. There's 2 table runners, so you get to pick which one fits your home best, and then give Julia, or you can have her pick which one fits one of her homes best.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And I love the artisanry in Paraguay. We have a lot, but we can never have enough. Thank you very much. Okay, and the workshop was supposed to end at 8, and it's now 8, right? Is that? Huh? Well, we look at a clock and we keep one, and it says 8:02. Yeah. So anyway, thank you. Yes, Carol.
Thank you, Carol. I'm trying to convince Susan for the second edition, but she says she's tired with the first one. But give me time, and maybe I'll convince her to continue supporting us. Maybe she won't get so involved, but she's planning to retire next year, so maybe she'll have time. She'll be bored, and she's like, maybe I want to go back to Paraguay and write another book. Okay, so with this. We're gonna finish the broadcast and then have one large picture here in the front, and then we can all go home. Thank you very much.